Hi, friends. Happy Thursday. I started to say happy Saturday. We're not quite there yet. Happy Thursday. My name's Janna, and welcome back to my channel. And if you are new here, I'm really happy that you are here. I'm going to do a fun shaped card today. And I'm using a mixture of things, but I'm using this Filled with Sweetness bundle from Stampin' Up. There's a whole suite of products in this that they have in this, but look at this cute paper with the jars stuff. So I'm using that by Stampin' Up, but I was gonna show you, maybe I did get it out. Yeah. So My Creative Time also has a really cute jar set on a smaller scale. It's called Chunky Jar Dies, but basically the same kind of things. There's not stamps with these though. They're all dies. However, they have also these jar label stamps and dies that you can make little labels with. Um, that would fit on, well, some of them will fit on these jars. There's bigger labels here too, but so just some really cute stamps in there. So I wanted to show that because they're just very similar, and look at the little tiny one here you could make a charm with. I just think it's so cute. But anyway, so I am going to play with a doily from My Creative Time. I'm going to use this bigger one here. But let's get started with this. So these are all the dies that you get, and this makes the jar shape here. And it's got a, what do you call that? An embossed line here to make the fold. And then there's various labels. I love the spoon handle, so you can have a spoon coming out of the jar. It's got this cute label here that you can hang. But yeah, so cute. And then these are the stamps. Well, you can't really see them, can you? Because they're clear. Hi, Sophia. Yeah, they do, don't they? They match perfectly. So, well, you still can't see them because they're clear, but anyway, we're gonna play with them. So let's get at it. I love the paper. Because you can cut all these out. Now, let's look at the dies. Are there... Okay, so there's no dies, but these would be really super easy to fussy cut. Any of those would be. And then there's that on the back side, which you could turn that over and use for the jam or jelly in your jar. There's some cute spoon paper with hearts on the back, and then little daisies and ladybugs. Adorable. And there's gingham on the back of that. Now the blue color in this is Misty Moonlight. Cute flower paper here. And oh, my nose is itching. What does that mean? Does that mean you're going to... No, it's when your palms itch that you're going to come into some money. Okay, there's some red checkers on the back of that. More jars, only on a smaller scale, which is fun. And there's some like paper lined paper here on the back. Paper like notebook paper. That's what I'm trying to say. And there's blue on the back of that piece, which is the fruit here. So you could cut any of that fruit out also. And you could use the blue for blueberry jam or jelly, which I'm going to play with blueberries today. I'm scratching my itchy nose. Okay, so let's get at it, shall we? All right, so I have a piece of Misty Moonlight. And I've got some other papers there that I will be using. And what I need is the stamp here. So you can totally make a shaped card like I'm going to do today, or you can just cut the jar out, not use the whole die, just use the side that works for you to just only cut the jar out to put on the front of a regular card. I think the trick is getting this down so that you're not making it go wonky because of the open areas on the stamp. I think it's easier to just drop it and let it fall naturally, than trying to put it on a block or a like on the lid, if you have a MISTI or whatever you use for a stamp positioner. I think it's easier to drop it onto your paper and have it fall naturally than trying to get it so that it's not wonky by placing it on the acrylic. I hope that makes sense. I know what I'm trying to say, but I'm not sure if it comes across right at all times. Okay. Now let's get my paper back in there. There we go. So I'm going to stamp it, ink it up and stamp it with the same color, Misty Moonlight. Probably have to ink it up a couple of times, I'm guessing. And get my little eraser out here and use it. Yeah, I needed a little bit more on the bottom of the jar there. The rest of it doesn't look too bad. Probably need to ink. Yeah, I think I said that. Need to ink this stamp pad up a little bit better. What's happening? Let me move this. Do I have? Oh, you know what? I know why. Because that is off the edge of my sticky thing that I have in there. That's what the problem is. I wonder if I could just, let me try here. Rather than, I would never get the stamp matched up again. But let me try to move this over and line this back up. We'll just see if it works. If it doesn't, you know what? I didn't do this right anyway. This should have been over there because my card's going to fold. So I need it to be on this side of the paper. So let's just, you guys know I always make mistakes, make boo-boos. So let me do this. Put this back where it goes. We'll just use the, I can't even use the back side, right? Because it's going to fold and then that would show. So what I am going to have to do is get another piece of cardstock. It's a good thing I have another piece of this because I think I do. Hopefully that will work. Yes, thankfully, because I don't have a whole package of that color of cardstock. I just have the assorted package. Okay, so now, because that would turn out to be on that side and that doesn't work, but if I go ahead and stamp it, but I need to turn my stamp around. That's the problemo. Learn along with Janna. Okay, all I can do is laugh at myself. All right, so let's try this all again. And you have to be really careful with stamps like this that have big open areas not to accidentally tear them. All right, now when this folds, yes, so this is the way it needs to be. All right, I think we're cooking with oil now. Now, is this going to stamp off the edge? No, we're good this time. Take two. Definitely need to ink up my stamp pad. One more time, and I think we have it. I think we're going to make it work this time. Yep, that will work. Okay. Sorry for the squeakies. Yeah, so trying to make it look like glass. You can stamp on acrylic or on what do you call it? Like what you use to like this stuff that you use window plastic. Um, but you need to use stays on if you want to do that typically. And I honestly don't like using stays on my clear stamps, but you know, I know a lot of people do. Um, but the other thing is you can stamp on vellum. And while it's a frosty look, it still gives you, you know, that sort of see-through thing. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. There's the die. If you just wanted to cut the jar out by itself and not make a shaped card, you can always just run it through your machine and just cut your paper smaller, and then after you run it through your machine, you'll just trim it off right here on this side. And then still cut your jar out with the die. Although it would be super simple to fussy cut the jar out as well. Okay, so I am going to, did that move a little bit? I think it did. Gonna run this through my machine. I might need to trim this paper off. I think I'll do that real quick. Might be a little bit too wide. So I'm just gonna do that. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, here we go. Now, how is this on here? Who knows? Like that, maybe? That works. All right, so I'm going to need to use those, so I may as well just leave them out. And so I've got my little crease line in there. I still like to make sure that everything is lining up before I give it a press with my bone folder. Yes, so it makes the cute little card here. And this measures, in case you're curious. So this measures just shy of 3 3/4 in width and just almost 4 1/4 in height. Okay, so we've got that. Now then, I pulled this piece out here and I got that piece from some paper in my stash. This is retired, but it's the Berry Delightful paper by Stampin' Up. And it's the back side of this one here. I don't know if you might have this in your stash as well. I love the strawberries, but yeah, they had this a while back, as well as I pulled out this stamp set, the Sweet Strawberry stamp set. And then back when they were doing the what I can't think of what it's called when you could get free stuff. How fast things slip our minds, but they came out with a blueberry set. The set I'm using today has a strawberry and a blueberry in the stamp set. But what I'm using this for is the little fabric jar topper, which is this. So just going to put it on here, and I could get my little mini machine out, but I've got too much stuff going on here, so I'm just going to run it through my other machine for here real quick. Okay, cute. So it embosses in there a bunch of little dotty lines and the shape of the jar lid there. And what color is this? Let me see what color they used here. Granny apple green. So let me pull that marker. All right, so I grabbed my dark Granny Apple Green marker here. These are the Stampin' Up! Blends. And I'm just going to go over the little dots and things because you don't really notice them so much. And you want to get that kind of pleated or ruffled look to this. It's supposed to be fabric. My hands are feeling shaky, and I'm not sure why because I ate my lunch, so I should be good. Sorry to get quiet on you. I get to concentrating on what I'm doing and I go quiet. Okay, so that just helps it show up a little bit better, I think. And then I've got some crumb cake colored cardstock here that I'm going to cut the little bow and the twine out with. So I'll be right back again with this. My pokey tool, yes, isn't that cute? Somebody gave that to me. Actually, I know who gave this to me. It was Paula. She's got a kind of a cooking and home channel. I will get a link to her channel. She's on Instagram too. And we've sent happy mail back and forth to each other over the years. And she sent me that. And then I have another pretty one here. Or no, maybe she sent me this one. I can't remember. This one's much bigger. All right. Okay. I love these little stringy bows. They're so cute. So there's a set from, I've played with it before and shown it before, but there's also a set of those cute little bows. I'll show them to you here in a second from my creative time. Just bows. Let me grab that so I can show it to you real quick. Right here, thin bow dies. So you get, so let me show you the size of the one I just used. It's about the same size as this one, I would say. Just the tails are a little different. And then you get these other three sizes also. Thin bow dies. Okay, so there we have that. And then I want to cut the big doily here. Okay, so let me do that. I probably should have cut this beforehand, but I didn't, so. I like to run these kind of dies through my machine twice because they have although I don't really think that it was necessary because these dies cut really well, but and I will clean all the little bits and pieces out of that later. But for now, let me run my little thing over it and see how much I can get out without having to poke them out individually. Anyway, I just think running it through twice makes sure that they are good and cut and it's easier to get out all the little pieces. And I could put this down on my piece of foam and it would help even more to be able to get them out with my brush tool here, but we're just going to go for it. And ideally, it's easier to do this over like the top of a garbage can because you can just get all the pieces like a bigger garbage can, not like my little bucket thing here. And I apologize for taking up your time doing this because my intention was to have this doily cut out ahead of time and I forgot. Okay. And I like to keep the little hearts. I'm not this time, but I have a whole little container full of hearts that whenever I cut something like this out that has hearts, I keep them because, you know, you're just always looking for one. And the white ones are nice because you can make them any color you want just by coloring them up. You can also keep the little leaf portions out if you wanted to make a row of little heart flowers on something. You probably just have a little separate container, and every time you cut a doily out, just put these hearts and leaves in a separate container, and they would be ready for just that instance that you wanted some little heart flowers on something. Okay, so there's that. I still have to die cut out the blueberries when I get them stamped, but let's just move on to doing something else for the moment. I'm going to grab my Misty Moonlight ink here again, and I'm going to just come in a little bit around the edges. I know that probably doesn't show up real well, but it is darkening up around the edge just to give our little rounded jar some contour. Okay. I like it. So there we have that. And then this is going to go inside, and I'm not going to do that just yet. Let's just go ahead and do the blueberry. Here's my snaps. Too much stuff piling up here again. Okay. Here they are. Okay. So here's my little blueberry. And then I'm also going to need one of the labels. And I think I'll go ahead and stamp this in the Misty Moonlight. I haven't used this stamp yet, so I should have probably wiped it off a little bit, but hopefully. And I'm not using my foam mat. Hey, it turned out fine. We're good. Okay. So I'm going to just use this Granny Apple green to color the green part. We have a farm that's not far away from where we live here, a blueberry farm. They actually used to grow strawberries and then they switched over to blueberries. And we went out there summer before last and picked blueberries. It was fine. They had fun. They had they've got several different varieties and they have all the little buckets out there that you can taste the different varieties of blueberries and decide which kind you want to pick. Well, so we tasted them, and mostly it was really kind of hard to tell the difference between all the different blueberries, but we finally decided on what we wanted. And then they direct you to which they were almost more like trees than bushes, but which ones were that particular blueberry. So you just picked until you had as many as you wanted picked in your buckets or bucket. And then I brought ours home. We didn't pick all that many, but brought them home and froze them. I remember one time I was still living at home. Somebody gave my mom a bunch of blueberries and she made the best blueberry pie. I know I've got another set of this color of markers because this one here, the brush tip end is getting kind of dry. But yeah, I always remembered that particular blueberry pie because it was so good. All right, so there's our little blueberries. And there is a die to cut those out. So we'll be cutting those out. And then which label do I want to use? Kind of thinking this one here is really cute. and the blueberries would fit nice in there. So I think I'm gonna go with this one. And I don't know if I want a white label. We've got our green topper. Do I want white? Do I want like a, gosh, decisions. Well, I guess I'll just go with white. So I can cut the blueberries and the label out. And then I might be done die cutting. Okay, I will be right back again. Okay, there's that. And our cute little blueberries. Cute. And I'm kind of thinking I would just like to go around the edges of this a little bit with maybe I was trying to think if I wanted the same color or a lighter color, but I think if I just do it lighter, now I'm just looking, hey, I found it. I will just do it lightly. Okay. Just takes a little bit of the edge off of that bright, bright white. What have we got here? Okay, so there's that. And then for my little doily on the inside, um, I think what I'm going to stamp on the inside of this one is "You're the sweetest." I think that's cute. Okay, you're the sweetest. And I think I'm going to want to do that in my Misty just because it might need to be stamped more than once. That I'm going to have to trim this off. So let me just bring in one of my trimmers here. And let me see if that's enough. Not quite. Almost. Okay, I don't want to get any of why does that look weird? I think I cut it crookedy. Well, what I'm going to do is just do that and see if that will be enough. Didn't get much. I might just need to trim it with my scissors. Let me see if that's enough. No, still not. I'm trying to only get okay, that did it. Okay, so bring my Misty back here. And just put it in here. Get my little stamp. You're the sweetest. Okay, it's hard to not get it to stick to your fingers. Cute. And where'd they go? Here they are. Thanks so much for being here, you guys. I appreciate the support, if whether you're watching live or whether you are catching the replay. I've noticed with the I don't know if it's algorithms or whatever it is. Even all the people that I subscribe to, it seems like I don't get their videos don't populate into my feed. And sometimes all of a sudden I'll realize that I am missing seeing somebody in particular on their videos, and I have to go back and look for them. So I don't know if it helps to, you know, once you're subscribed to do the little bell to make sure that videos pop up in your feed. So I've been trying to look at that myself on different people that I like to watch and see if that makes a difference. Because honestly, sometimes you forget their channel name and then you just have to, I mean, I'm subscribed to so many different ones. I probably should clean out my subscription thing, I guess, for the ones that don't do videos anymore. Okay, make sure we're doing this right here. And I don't want to go over the fold line. Try to get the sentiment straight. Okay, so now we can get to it. All right, so got that. Let me get the little twine on here. I know I'm probably going to need my tweezers, so I'll just have them ready here. Makes it easier. I love my glue press for doing these little skinny things. You can just make the tiniest little line of glue. And I do have sticky sheets that I can cut stuff like this. You know, you just put your cardstock on the sticky before you die cut it. But for just little things like this, if it was a great big thing that was really intricate, I would definitely put it on a sticky back sheet. Okay, so, oh, not that, this. All right, so just get it lined up here. I don't want it going over the edges. I think it needed to come down a little bit, but I'm afraid, yeah, it's not going to let me. That's okay. And then the little bow. Oopsie. Okay, this is going to go on there. Okay, it does show a little bit. So if that bugs you, hopefully it won't bug you. Okay, so there's that. And then this. Okay, and now for something really fun. I got busy the other day and I made a bunch of little fairies. And so these come from my Creative Times. They've got 3 or 4 different fairies. I have the one called Fairy Stamps and Dies that makes up this little fairy. And then it comes with all the fun little stamps. There's fairy mail. May all your wishes come true. Magical wishes with fairy kisses. Fairy wishes. Make a wish. Sending love. Believe in magic. Have a magical day. Believe in yourself. And thanks very much. But they just are so cute. Now, I stamped these all out in just white cardstock and then colored them after I die cut them, which made them so much easier than trying to cut them out of a bunch of different colors of cardstock. So these are my little fairies. And so these 3 here have Wink of Stella on their boots and their dresses. This one, I just took a white gel pen and gave her some little design on her dress there. So we're going to have the little blue girl on this one. I just think they turned out so cute. And I just thought she would be so cute popped up on here. And I have another one that I made, so I will show you that one also. So we're just gonna pop her up right here. Too cute. Now then, let me get one of those little hearts out of here. And I'm gonna grab a pink marker to color that with. I grabbed a couple different ones. Let me see which one I want to use here. That one looks like it matches her, the flower in her hair, so I will just use this one. And we'll just have her holding this little heart. Cute. And then I pulled out these embellishments here. These are the garden epoxy dots. And If I did the pink ones, that would match the flower in her hair, but the blue ones would be really cute. I don't know which ones to do. I think the blue ones, maybe. I don't know. I have such a hard time making decisions anymore. Okay, I'm gonna do the blue ones. Okay, there's that one. I've got a mess going on here. And here's the little strawberry girl I made. And this one says, "Happy birthday, you sweet thing." And I put a little strawberry in there. That comes from this pack of embellishments that is strawberries and dots from Stampin' Up. And I thought about using those on the front, but I just didn't like how it looked when I went to put them on there. So I just put some red blingity blings on there. But aren't they cute? I think they turned out pretty sweet. Okay, story time. Oh, I should do the white. I kind of liked just doing the highlights there along the little lines that's already there. I think I stamped, no, I didn't. There's, what does it say? Made with love or something on there too, I thought would be cute to stamp on the back. So I'm just going right next to the little lines that they already have on there for you. I didn't do those up there, but maybe I should have. Cute. All right. The world according to Mr. Rogers. Important things to remember. Little by little, we human beings are confronted with situations that give us more and more clues that we aren't perfect. All our lives, we rework the things from our childhood, like feeling good about ourselves, managing our angry feelings, being able to say goodbye to people we love. The child in me, still and sometimes not so still. The child is in me still, and sometimes not so still. There, helps to read it the way it's written there. Understanding love. Understanding love is one of the hardest things in the world. Deep within us, no matter who we are, there lives a feeling of wanting to be lovable, of wanting to be the kind of person that others like to be with. And the greatest thing we can do is to let people know that they are loved and capable of loving. Okay, I think we'll just stop there. And that is what I had to share with you today. I hope you guys are having a great week. Please have a great weekend ahead. And thanks for being here. Please give me a thumbs up if you would. And I will see you in my next video. Take care and happy crafting. Bye bye.